Blake, what have you and your brother said to each other so far this week?
I mean, we talk weekly. We just kind of been having casual conversation. We've probably talked a little bit more this week, just anticipating seeing each other on Saturday, but nothing too bad. No smack talk yet. Probably say a few things in the field, but that's probably about it.
Blake, when you look back, what do you remember about when your brother started snapping, and what was it like to kind of share that and work with him through high school, Hunter?
Yeah, I never really knew the importance of a long snapper until he started snapping. That was probably around 7th grade year when we really started playing like actual football, where you had a whole long snap and punt operation. My dad actually helped him out with that because he snapped in high school as well. So I mean, I just kind of got more comfortable with him, and I always knew that guy who was snapping me the ball. I always felt like I could talk to him, which is really important with that relationship. So I'd say probably brother punter and snapper combo was probably the best you could get as far as that combination.
How do you get two brothers that want to be orthopedic surgeons in the same family?
I know it sounds kind of weird, because my mom's a flight attendant, my dad's a commercial real estate guy for Wells Fargo. I think we visited the doctor a lot as we were kids, and that kind of all led to us being interested in that. I think we're very much alike, even though we don't look that much alike. So I think that probably contributed to it as well. But I think we always competed head to head in a lot of stuff as kids, and I think that's probably our next step with that competition.
Was that a thing you guys talked about, or did you come to it on your own and then you guys found out later?
We probably never talked about that. We're actually taking different paths. He's a biology major. I'm a kinesiology major. So that would probably defer some of the kind of stuff we're going to do in med school. But ultimately, it's probably going to be the same thing.
James said that he remembered your official visit coming to the house. There were scuff marks on the wall from your brother snapping to you. What was that like as a kid?
What happened was we'd go down in the basement. It's not a really high basement, but so he'd fire some balls back, right? We'd clear all this stuff. He'd fire some balls back, and I just want to kind of tap the ball, kind of get a spiral going. You know what I'm saying? And I'd hit the ceiling sometimes. It scuffed the ball leaves pretty significant scuff marks in the ceiling. So that kind of migrated to our foyer outside our living room. So when he walked in the front door, there's like all over the ceiling on the left side, there's just pretty much brown scratches, like going probably 10 feet or something. It's all over the wall over there. So I told my parents that I would paint the wall at some point, but haven't gotten around to it. And I still have that promise in here. So that's definitely something I need to do in the near future.
Maybe during the bye week.
Maybe, but the problem is when I go home, I sometimes do it. It's kind of a habit, so kind of revert back to my old self. So.
Have you and Billy talked at all about both having brothers on the Northwestern team?
Yeah, I think it's really unique to have two sets of brothers on opposite teams. I'm not sure if there's any two teams in the country that have that. Obviously, we have a lot of family come to the game, a lot of friends. He's probably going to outnumber me though, so it's kind of good to have another guy who's kind of going through that same experience, because it's definitely different. I mean, I've never played against my brother before. I don't really know what it's going to be like. So definitely having that other guy there is going to help out a lot.
Blake, what does Nick Scott mean to the special teams unit?
Everything. That guy is our captain. He's our leader. He's selfless. Obviously, he's not our starting safety. But he plays on pretty much every single special teams. I mean, you see his energy. It's kind of a reflection of Coach Huff's energy, and I think that kind of everyone else kind of feeds off that. And he's kind of the centerpiece for our success on special teams. And when you see probably one of our best athletes on the entire team flying around on special teams, that kind of signals to some of the other younger guys that special teams are valued here.
Do you think that the special teams unit as a whole has taken a step forward this year?
Oh, I'd say definitely it has. Our return units are playing outstanding right now. I think that was kind of our last step. As you saw last year, we were really close a couple times and just didn't break through, but obviously we scored 2 touchdowns already, not counting the one we scored on the punt team last week. So I think, yeah, but I mean, people are starting to kick away from our punt return, DeAndre now, so if that kind of tells you anything about what other teams are thinking, that's all right with me. If they're punting 30 yards and trying to keep away from our guy, they can do that all they want.
Hey Blake, when you punt the other team deep and then the defense gets a safety, What's your reaction on the sideline knowing that you had a role in that?
Oh, I'm psyched. I'm psyched out. I mean, whenever I can kind of put the defense in that kind of position, that's huge for me. That's huge for our punt team, our team as a whole. But that's my goal every time, to kind of try to set something up for the defense, whether it be flip the field if we're inside the 20, trying to flip the field as much as I can, or place it inside the 10-yard line every single time. So I think that's kind of like my job on this team. It's to give the defense the best look that they can get to be successful.
Like, how many punts do you have in the back? Like, how many different kinds of punts?
I'd probably say, so I have obviously a regular punt. I have a different. I'll punt differently if there's a lot of wind. I'll change kind of how I drop it and stuff like that. Obviously, you've seen a lot of the inside the 20 punts this year, where you try to put some backspin on and put some little musto on it. But I mean, there's not really that many punts where I'll turn the nose differently or anything like that. I've actually talked to my one of the coaches on the team that's going to help me out with a knuckleball in the off season. So hopefully I get some return or something to think about next year.
How much do you think about the wind, or like how much do you check the weather before game? Because you've mentioned it last week and then now.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really try to check it too much before the game, because every stadium's different. I mean, if you go over to Beaver Stadium, the wind will show it's going north or from the north, and it actually on the field is blowing out of the south. So I mean, it's kind of just every single stadium is going to be different. But it's definitely something you have to take in consideration, because if you try to hang one up and you got a 15-mile-an-hour wind in your face, it's not going to go anywhere. So it's definitely something we think about a lot as specialists. But ultimately, you have to execute regardless of the weather conditions. So
Blake, what is your windy day plans since it's going to be in windy city?
Yeah, I mean, I've looked at the weather a little bit. It's going to be windy in Chicago like it always is. I mean, I was kind of expecting it. So obviously, I kind of have to lower my drop a little bit more, just to make sure that when I drop it, it doesn't blow anywhere. Because that's kind of where a lot of punters, when they punt in the wind, they kind of mess up. Because once you drop it, it actually has time before it hits your foot, where it can shift and stuff. So that's probably the one thing I'd say is the biggest adjustment.
Two more?
Like, from your vantage point, Irvin Charles would put in the work. What do you see from him on coverage? I mean, he seems like he's a man on fire out there right now.
He's a ball hawk. He literally runs wherever the ball is and always makes the play. I don't think he's missed a tackle yet this year. You saw it in the last game. I think he was probably the most valuable player on our special teams, and that's why he was deserving of the Special Teams Player of the Week that we give out. So I mean, he's invaluable to me. Whenever he makes a play, I'm always the most excited guy in the entire stadium, because ultimately he's helping our punt team out. Our net punting is probably the most important statistic out of all the punting statistics that we track, and ultimately it's helping our team out, giving our defense great field position.
Talking with your brother, whether it's on the football field or just the universities in general, what similarities do you see between Penn State and Northwestern?
I'd say, I mean, I visited both during the recruiting process a lot. I think both head coaches really care about their players a lot. I think Pat Fitzgerald is probably one of the better coaches in the NCAA. My brother was really attracted to him. He's their special teams coordinator, actually. So I think that's probably a really unique thing that they have going there. Obviously, I think I probably compared our honors college here to kind of their academics. I think he's also doing really well academically, which is kind of why he picked there. He's a really big academic guy as well in high school, and I think he's still at a 3.93 GPA, which isn't too shabby at a school like Northwestern. So yeah, they're both great schools. Obviously, they've had great success in football. So I'm really looking forward to matching up on Saturday.